The woman is tapping her fingers rhythmically on her face. It turns out she's using Morse code to communicate with the man on death row in the courtroom. She asks the man how she can save him. Jack receives the message, winking his eyes in response. As there is so much information, the woman immediately wrote it all down with a pen. By the time they finished delivering their message, the trial was over. Jack was sentenced to be executed in 3 days. But he didn't panic, because just now, he and Ellie have agreed on a great plan to break out of prison. Jack's a famous gangster. That evening, Ellie followed Jack's instructions. She came to a wall. She found the designated brick and pushed it in. The wall slowly rose up, and inside was a luxury car. She got into the car and headed to the next location. When she sees the sign for 37 kilometers, she pulls over. The next thing you know, the mountain turns into a door and slowly opens up. The car pulls into the cave. There's a secret room hidden here. Enter the combination to the safe and it pops open. Inside, there's an abundance of money and colorful bottles of pills. Ellie picked up the yellow and green potion that Jack had specified. Next, she'll use them to get Jack out of jail. But there's one more key person she needs to find. The head of the Department of Justice, a man who's used his position for corruption, and he's a dirty old man. He sees that Ellie's pretty. He's always wanted her for himself, and now Ellie's actually coming to him. He can't wait to close the door. He wanted to do something right away, but Ellie asked him to show her how much he loved her. The minister swore that he'd do anything for Ellie. Ellie smiled softly, then she picked up the paper on the table, saw the news that Jack was about to be guillotined. Ellie says she's curious about this ruthless character, wanted to meet him before he died. The minister rejected it out of hand. It's too dangerous to be close to a condemned man. Ellie had to resort to her best maneuver. She teased the minister with her nose.
Io posso darti tutto quello che desideri.
The minister agreed immediately, but only if he went with Ellie. Ellie smiled wickedly, which was just as well. That night, the two of them arrived at the prison. The minister made up some excuse about wanting to interrogate Jack. The three of them went into the interrogation room. 27 minutes later, the minister walks out coldly and says, "Jack's like a log. He can't get anything out of me." The warden said he'd been like that ever since he'd been in prison. With a blank face and not a word to say, the next day of the execution was fast approaching. The guards cut off Jack's collar and pressed him to the guillotine, but at this point, he still looks as if this has nothing to do with him. Seeing his unusual behavior, the police chief suddenly realized something was wrong. He remembered the various human skin masks he found in Jack's house. He felt bad and went to stop the execution.